Well, it looks like we are finally coming to the beginning of the end of this Greenwood scenario. Whether United is going to let him back or not, everything is underway. The arrangement of the return of Greenwood to United is underway and vice versa. What do I mean by saying vice versa? Even when a decision is going to be even when a decision will be taken that Greenwood isn't allowed to return to Manchester United, contract to be terminated, that will also be considered according to Lolly Whitwell. You know him very well. He's a United correspondent for The Athletic. Welcome to United Matters channel. Good morning, guys, and where you're watching us from. Rokan David is my name. Now, we are talking about Gary Neville, discussing about Declan Rice, and at this time, I've gone ahead to be in tune with Gary Neville about what I talked about Declan Rice. Buying him at £100 million, I've always come out and said he's not even worth £80 million. That's it. He's not even worth £80 million. That's it. I've agreed with him. And lastly, Erik ten Hag, the manager of Manchester United, has really gone ahead and really issued something concerning how the team of United is really blossoming day in and day out and continuing to compete into the 4 different trophies. So there are now three different trophies we are left in. He has gone ahead and really revealed the secret behind our prospering into those competitions. Now, let's get off with Mason Greenwood. Remember, Greenwood appeared in front of Manchester United and they talked with the club of Manchester United the 16th. Internal investigations have been done, and now it looks like a final decision is going to be taken soon to see to it that whether he returns to Manchester United or not. Now, Lolly Whitwell and Adam Crafton have told us that club sources insist that no decision has yet been made on Mason Greenwood, and that is one of several options, including a split that remains possible. So, the club has not yet taken a decision on Mason Greenwood, but the two are all possible. Retaining him at Old Trafford and Carrington, or terminating his contract, or selling him to a certain club that is willing to cash in for him. That's what Lolly Whitwell has gone ahead to tell us. Then he continued to explain more about this by saying, a month after the launch of the internal investigation, the option of returning Mason Greenwood to the first team as a part of a possible gradual return to football remains under consideration. Now, this is the gist of the matter. The club is really not only considering to not get the player back to the club, but they are also considering to really make him part of the first team. That's it. And that's where the gist of the matter is. With the reports coming in from teams that we want Mason Greenwood on loan and putting in requests or inquiries about whether United can loan the player, United has passed through its correspondent known as Lolly Whitwell, and they've gone ahead to reveal to us this story that the possible return of Mason Greenwood has not been ruled out. It's under consideration, and now we are waiting to see who is who into this decision of Mason Greenwood to return to Manchester United. I know there is a portion of United fans who don't want him back, and there is a portion of those that really want him back. So we are going to wait and see what the final decision taken by United is gonna be. Now, Lolly Whitwell said, should Greenwood stay, Man United are likely to go through a step-by-step process, which would include encouraging him to go to therapy, and it has also been suggested this could include a TV interview. That's it. Now, when you look at all what they are putting out, it looks like, according to me, that Greenwood is going to be kept at Manchester United. When you hear such things and relating them to the story I read and brought to you from the Sun like 3 weeks back about Greenwood, that United have started to conduct what we call the rehabilitation process on Mason Greenwood, Ten Hag talking to Greenwood for the very first time like 2 weeks back, then Greenwood given chance and audience to talk to the players that he was with in the academy of Manchester United and then graduated to the team of Manchester United, it tells you that it's almost 90% that they are considering to get him back to the club. Do you know why? However much brands are really important to the club, but the club will say they are brands that will really associate with us, even if we are having Greenwood, and they will really measure the risk. A certain brand will say, we are giving you £10 million per year. If you are keeping Greenwood, we are parting ways. And the club will weigh in and say, all right, we are having our shirt sponsor, is okay with it. We are having Adidas. We are having TX, is it TX what? TX something that sponsors the arm sleeves of the jersey and very many others. So we are having Premier League money. We are having Champions League money coming in. If you're terminating the contract of Greenwood, you're supposed to give him close to £50 million. Let us let this one go. We'll get another one. That's it. That's it. And I think financially, it will have a lot of financial implications to let Greenwood go. And United will know that maybe we can get Greenwood back to the levels and maybe even sell him in the next 1 or 2 years. That's it. And they might try to retain him at the club and say, all right, we'll keep him here for 2 years. His contract will run down and let him go as a free agent, such that we don't incur that cost of really terminating his contract because he's left with 2 years. That is Greenwood for you. So the club is really in a tight spot, and I believe the financial situation is going to be so much determinant on whether Greenwood stays at the club or not, according to me and what I've seen. Because when you look at what the club is saying, that they are considering to give him a TV interview, because that runs down my mind that obviously these are options. There is a plan being laid to really put Greenwood back to the face that he deserves to be and clean him off everything that has been put out on him. And all the cases were dropped. He's innocent. He's the guy. So, with United planning the therapies, TV interview, it's already in the glass that they are considering getting him back at Old Trafford. Him talking to, when you add those dots, him talking to Ten Hag for the very first time, him talking to the players of United. Now, the club taking him for rehabilitation, considering a TV interview to get him back to the level he's supposed to be. The plan is already set, and the lawyers of Greenwood have gone ahead to play this well for him, and they know how to really play around with this and get the positivity they deserve out of this deal. So I believe that we might see Greenwood back at Old Trafford. But we've been told finally that the final decision will be made by Joel Glazer and Richard Arnold, as long as Man United remain under the control of Glazer family. Erik ten Hag had at least one conversation with Mason Greenwood, and his opinion will be taken into consideration. Now, have you heard? This story was put out by the Mirror and the Sun that Erik ten Hag held his first conversation with Mason Greenwood like 2.5 weeks back. I saw very many pundits coming out and saying, no, we cannot really go ahead and really, and even very many YouTubers of Manchester United channels, fan channels, that I cannot confirm that source. I cannot confirm that source. Now, this is Rod Whitwell, a correspondent of United for The Athletic, has confirmed to you that Ten Hag talked to Mason Greenwood. He talked to him. So it shows you how good this is for Mason Greenwood. It's moving on his way. And by the time a decision is going to be made for him to stay or be here, I think most people will be focusing on other stuffs altogether. But according to all what is being seen and put out, if you hear that the Glazers are really willing to make the final decision, are the Glazers some of the people whom you look at and think that they can go out and really let a player go when they're supposed to compensate him between 30 to 50 million pounds? Yet they've been missing out for dividends. They can't. Trust me, they're going to keep him at the club. That is Mason Greenwood, and they will continue to see how everything is going to prosper. And everything is in the pipeline to keep this guy, according to me. So let's wait and see how the aftercomings are going to be after this story has been laid out by Laurie Whitwell. For the very first time, we've seen a United correspondent put out a story concerning Mason Greenwood, and you won't be surprised by what is going to happen next about this, if at all you've been a viewer of United Matters channel. Every story concerning Greenwood, we are putting it up here, left, right, and center. And there is a story that has been put out tonight that I'm going to do tomorrow about Greenwood again, and I'm going to explain to you why they've done it. They are poking the nose of the English national team manager to speak out something, because you're going to the international friendlies or international break. Always use your head very well. And I think that's why they are doing it, and I'm doing it tomorrow. And that's it for Mason Greenwood for now. Let's get to Gary Neville. There have been rumors that Declan Rice is one of those players that has been linked to Manchester United, and that United would love to really sign him. Now, Gary Neville has really gone ahead and given his opinion over this. He said, I wouldn't be spending 110 or 120 million pounds on Declan Rice. If I was Manchester United this summer, I would spend 50 to 60 million pounds on Declan Rice, but I wouldn't spend the figures being reported, because I feel in that position, I still feel like he's got a lot to grow. Very much on point and spot. You know, if you respect talent in the game of football, if Caicedo is going in for 70 million pounds, you can't tell me that Declan Rice is going for 100 or 80. Yet Caicedo is a better CDM than Declan Rice. Putting all that is an English player aside, I don't want to know why United have fallen culprits of such signings. Harry Maguire, 80 million pounds. Is he worth an 80 million pound centre back? In the Premier League, if you are to rate the top 20, if you are to rate the top 15 or 20 centre backs, I don't see Harry Maguire there. I don't see Harry Maguire there. Why? The Premier League has 20 teams. Every team plays with 2 central defenders or 3. Let me give you close to 20 central defenders that are better than Harry Maguire. At United, Varane, Lisandro Martinez, Luke Shaw, Lindelof. He comes 5th. We go to Arsenal. Magalhaes is better. Saliba is better. Thiago Silva at Chelsea is better. Koulibaly is better. Badiashile is better than Harry Maguire. Those are 9. We go to Liverpool. Konate is better. Those are 10. Joe Matip is better. Those are 11. Virgil van Dijk is better. You get? By far. Those are 12. We go to Man City. Akanji is better, 13. Ruben Diaz is better, 14. Laporte is better, 15. Even John Stones is better than Harry Maguire. Those are 16. Yes? We go to Spurs. The defender that is better than him is Christian Romero. Is 100% better than him. Those are 17. I'm talking about the top 6 teams right now. You get? There is even Wesley Fofana at Chelsea. He's better than Harry Maguire. Those are 18. You get? Let us go to which team? Let us go to which other team has a decent defender. Now, it shows you how bad Harry Maguire is that I've counted 18 central defenders in the Premier League and is nowhere near those. So, if you are bought at 80 million pounds and you can't make it to the top 20 even, that shows you how worse you are. The players that we are bought for that amount of money, like Virgil van Dijk, are in that ilk. Wesley Fofana, who else? Ruben Diaz. So, it shows you how far off Harry Maguire is. The mistake we made to bring him at that cost is still affecting us till now. Harry Maguire, I saw Ten Hag on pressure. The worst defender on the field of play when you're playing West Ham on Wednesday, it was Harry Maguire, to be specific. But the manager had nothing to do, because this is an 80 million pound player and he never wanted to humiliate him because he was having a very bad game. He took off Lindelof, who was the better of the two, and brought Lisandro Martinez to partner Harry Maguire. You get? So, we are paying lots of things. And one thing I hate about signing a player at that cost, when he's not as good as Casemiro or Sabitzer or Eriksson or Donny van Beek, is when you bring him at the club at £100 million, you have to play him. That's why at Chelsea, Graham Potter is experiencing problems with Mukalo Modric. You can't buy a player at €100 million and play him on the bench. That's out. You have to come out and play that player consistently. So, for that, with Gary Neville, I agree with him. At £50 million, I don't even go for him. Do you know why? There are other players like Zubimendi who go for the same amount of money and they are better. You get? There are CDMs in this world that you can get at £50 million that are very decent and are going to be the next Casemiros. I rather go in for, is it not Soumare? This guy that plays the central defense midfield of PSV. What's his name? The tall guy. Let me see. PSV. I have to bring him here. I know. This guy. His name. Where is it? Sangare is the name. I rather sign Sangare at close to £30 million and bring him at Manchester United because I know he's going to come in through and really do a better job than what this guy is going to do. So 100% agree with Gary Neville. And even at £50 million, I cannot buy him because he's not nowhere good enough. However much they say that you need to improve him and turn into a better player, I know Ten Hag has. Look at what he has done in Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Bissaka is one of the best right backs I've seen ever since return from the World Cup. You get? But do you think West Ham will go ahead and release him at the amount of money? Unless when they're relegated. But if they stay in the Premier League, teams like Chelsea, Arsenal, they are in for him. They are really desperate to spend on him. But I think Ten Hag has all his mind rested on Frankie de Jong and is willing to spend close to £80 million on Frankie de Jong. So look at the talent of Frankie de Jong and the talent of Declan Rice. A player that can only play as a CDM, his cost is £120 million. Frankie de Jong, world class, proven, very talented, £80 million. So what do? You go in for a player called Frankie de Jong because he plays as a CDM, box-to-box midfielder. He can also play as a central defense midfielder. He can also play as a central attack midfielder. He can also play as a central defender. I know Declan Rice can play as a central defender because that's where he played first before they brought him in the central defense midfield position. Under the English national team, if Calvin Phillips is fully fit, there is no way I play Declan Rice. I believe Calvin Phillips would have been one of those players that should be hailed up in the sky than Declan Rice. He's a baller. He's a central defensive midfielder. He can play box-to-box role. He can play as a complete player, pure talent, very good player. And obviously, for today, I'm siding with Gary Neville on what he has said about a player known as Declan Rice. I cannot spend that amount of money on Declan Rice. That's it. Why should I spend it? Yet we are having very many players to sign. We need like 5 players in to complement the project of Erik Ten Hag for the next 2-3 years. No way. This player needs to be at the club of Manchester United, and I don't want to see Erik Ten Hag looking at Declan Rice. Not even a peep. Not even a glance. No way. Now, Ten Hag has gone ahead and revealed to us the magic behind United performing or putting up such performances this time round. We've been told that this is Ten Hag saying, every day I demand a performance I don't accept when it is lower. I will criticize them, he means the United players, and I will tell them what I expect. I have to give the team solutions on how to win a game. The performance versus West Ham second half was much better. So, this manager doesn't welcome complacency at Old Trafford. Blowing hot and cold, it's out of his agenda. If you do it, you'll face it. You remember even what Bruno said, that this manager will drop you if at all you don't do what he wants. He referred to the players as going to have to be dropped. Rashford, Sancho, Harry Maguire, Ronaldo. If you don't do what he directs you to do on the field of play, obviously, you are so far much better to be a bench player than his player at the club of Manchester United. So he doesn't welcome complacency, and he demands the best out of every game. What I liked about him is every time he's always calling in for more, because he knows that if you want a human being to feel comfortable and start not to deliver, tell him or her that you've done well. Give me the same thing like you gave me yesterday. You just have to tell him, get me more. What you gave me yesterday was good, but I want better. When he gives you better, you call for the best. So that is Erik ten Hag for you, and I think you've known his magic behind all these wins and the demands he has gone ahead to put onto the United players. So Rokan David is my name, and your thoughts onto Greenwood's return arrangement underway. Your thoughts about it are welcome in the comment section below. Then, would you go in and buy Declan Rice at that amount of money? Yes or no? Let me know in the comment section. And lastly, what do you think about the magic of Erik ten Hag for winning all these games of football? Because ever since return from the World Cup, no team has collected more points from all games we played in Europe than Manchester United. Meaning that if you had not lost the first two games against Brighton and Brentford, we would have been even topping the Premier League. Right now, Arsenal is having 60 points. If you add on those 6 points, we would have been having like 55 or 57 points. So that is it for now. Rokan David is my name. Good morning, and see you when you see me. Today, we've opened up a new chapter that we are doing 4 videos. 3 recorded videos and 1 live video. Thank you guys for watching it through. May the Lord bless you abundantly. I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. See you guys when you see me. I'm out.